Two slutty girls meet to go for a dip in the wilderness and have their friends on the shore film it as a souvenir. Suddenly Fanny feels a bite on her thigh, but she thinks it's just some fish or shrimp messing around and doesn't give it a second thought. Little did she know that from that day on, her fate would change forever. When Fanny returned home with her luggage, she noticed something strange about her body. She had a lot of red spots on her body, but even more bizarrely, her sense of hearing became unusually sensitive, and she could hear even the slight sound of sweeping the floor next door clearly. She told her best friend, who she played with, about this, but her best friend said it was because Fanny was too nervous. But the next day Fanny realized that pus had actually grown on her leg where the bite had been, and she even squeezed pus out of it. Fanny finally started to take it seriously, and she described her symptoms over the phone to her doctor friend, who suggested that Fanny go to the hospital to get it checked out because she had never seen the symptoms that Fanny was describing. But the girl didn't follow the doctor's advice and just bought a bunch of anti-infection drugs to suppress the changes in her body. That day her boyfriend Parker came over, but the weird thing was that when the two of them ate together, Fanny couldn't take the slightest interest in the food in front of her, and even when she watched her boyfriend eating normally, she couldn't help but vomit, but what came out was mucus that looked like snot. Immediately afterward, she realized that more pustules grew on the place where she was bitten, and yellow liquid came out when she gently squeezed it. She hurriedly scrubbed it with disinfectant, but she still thought it was just an infected wound and fell asleep in the bathtub. I don't know how long it took, but she actually laid directly into the water, yet she didn't seem to feel anything at all. Her girlfriend's phone call woke her up. Fanny then panicked and sat up from the bathtub, and her body was covered in mucus at some point. Associated with the recent events on her body, Fanny thought she could not be pregnant. She hurriedly bought a pregnancy test to check, and sure enough, she was hit. The woman suddenly gave birth to a bunch of pearl particles, in front of her buddies stunned, but the next second, they actually excitedly began to stomp on the pearls, sour feeling like stepping on a foam ball. The woman desperately pleaded with them to hurry up and stop, because all these pearls are her children, but they are more and more on the head, not the slightest intention to stop. Fanny suddenly woke up from the bathtub with a start, so it was all just a dream. But soon she realized that her home was covered in slime at some point. She carefully walked to her bedroom and saw that there seemed to be something hidden under the quilt. She violently lifted it to see that there was really a large pile of pearl particles.